Fighting is still ongoing in the ISIL-held town of Ain Issa, about 50 kilometres north of Raqqa city. For more on this, we're joined by Charlie Winter. He's a researcher at the Quilliam Foundation. That's a London-based anti-extremism think tank. Good to have you with us. So, two strategic games in 1 week. Why is it that the Kurdish front is succeeding in northern Syria where others are failing?
Well, I think to a large extent it's because it's very well structured in its command and control, and we're seeing a lot of coordination between the coalition, as you mentioned, and the Kurds, as well as local brigades from the Free Syrian Army. So they've made a very effective fighting force. And for example, in Iraq, where there hasn't been quite as much progress in a continuous manner, at least, that's largely because the leadership, the command and control isn't as well honed, I think.
And what are the Kurds' end game here?
Well, they've said that they don't want their own state. I mean, this is very controversial, and it's something which the Turkish government is very worried about. But I think that at least at the moment, the Kurds are saying that they want to have an autonomous rule in northern Syria. I think that at this stage, at least, they're not going to try and make any claims for a state, because that would only plunge them plunge the area into more disarray.
You know, there have been accusations that the Kurdish fighting force, the YPG, is driving Arabs and Turkmen from the places that it takes over. Is there any actual evidence of sort of systematic abuses that might amount to ethnic cleansing?
Well, there have been a lot of accusations, not only from Islamic State, but also from other fighting groups in Syria itself. We've seen a number of statements and quite a fair amount of video footage, but it's very difficult to make out what's actually happening in the video footage, because predominantly it's just a picture of, or pictures of, a lot of people near the border with Turkey, and that's what's being used by Islamic State and these other groups as evidence of ethnic cleansing. Now, since Tel Abyad was, so that's the city on the Turkish border, since that was liberated by the Kurds last week, we have seen a steady stream of people returning to Tel Abyad. So these are the very people that Islamic State was accusing the Kurds of ethnically cleansing. So I think that it's, at the moment, very careful. We need to be very careful not to let anything go here. I mean, there's a lot to be optimistic about here. So we just need to watch very closely and ensure that the Kurds do hold true to their word.
With these gains, would you say that ISIL is now on the back foot in northern Syria?
I think that given the nature of Islamic State, it's a very nebulous structure. It doesn't have borders like a normal state does, and it doesn't have the same conventional capabilities as a normal state does as well. So it is going to be pushed back in various places, but at the same time as it's pushed back, we've seen this a lot in the last year, it can expand elsewhere. That said, I mean, the Kurds are now unprecedentedly close to Raqqa, and that will have Islamic State worrying, especially given the time of year. I mean, we're in Ramadan now, and they really need to be looking as powerful as possible in order to ensure the momentum narrative keeps up. So a strategic defeat from the Kurds right now is very, very important.
Very interesting indeed. Charlie Winter, thanks very much.